There's a major conversation happening right now in Washington that every American senior should know about. On the floor of the House of Representatives, lawmakers are debating the future of Social Security, privacy concerns, and even proposals for a new $1,400 payment exclusively for Social Security beneficiaries. These updates have the potential to affect millions of seniors who are already living on fixed incomes and struggling to make ends meet. What we are witnessing right now could reshape not only how benefits are managed, but also whether or not retirees receive additional financial relief to help cover the rising costs of everyday living. Welcome to Truth Lens, the channel where we break down the most important news for seniors, retirees, and all Americans depending on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI. If you're living on a fixed income and finding it harder each month to cover rent, groceries, prescriptions, or utilities, you're not alone, and this channel is here to keep you informed. At Truth Lens, we follow the legislation, the speeches in Congress, and the proposals that too often get ignored in mainstream coverage so that you always know how these decisions affect your wallet and your future. Yesterday, Representative John Larson took to the House floor with a fiery message about Social Security. He declared that Democrats and Republicans must come together to protect this program, to take responsibility as a separate branch of government, and to demand accountability for how Social Security data is being handled. According to him, millions of Americans' personal information may have been mishandled or placed in unsecured locations. He raised concerns about outside groups like DOJ gaining access to sensitive data that should never have left secure systems. Larson argued this represents not just a breach of trust, but a direct threat to the privacy and dignity of every single Social Security recipient. This is a serious issue for seniors who already feel vulnerable. The idea that their Social Security information could be stored in insecure clouds without proper oversight is deeply concerning. Representative Larson's point was simple. No outside group has the right to take data from hardworking Americans who depend on Social Security. He demanded that those responsible appear before Congress to explain why they had access, how they use this data, and what steps will be taken to fix the problem. But while Larson is right to push for accountability, many seniors feel frustrated that more lawmakers aren't focusing on the issues that directly affect their wallets. Issues like benefit increases, cost of living adjustments, and emergency relief payments. That's where the $1,400 proposal comes in. Recently, a senior advocacy group has been pushing for Congress to approve a one-time payment of $1,400 for all Social Security beneficiaries. Unlike stimulus checks that went to nearly every American during the pandemic, this payment would be targeted only to seniors and those living on Social Security. The group behind this effort argues that the value of Social Security benefits has eroded dramatically over the last decade and a half. Since 2010, the purchasing power of benefits has fallen by about 20%, meaning your check today simply doesn't buy what it once did. Think about that for a moment. If you receive $1,200 a month in benefits today, that money only stretches as far as about $960 would have in 2010. For seniors who are already deciding between paying for food, medicine, or rent, that loss of buying powers is devastating. To truly make up for these losses, the group estimates that seniors would need an increase of more than $4,000 annually. But since Congress has failed to act for so long, they are now asking for a more modest, immediate step, a one-time $1,400 payment to help ease the burden. For many seniors, that $1,400 could be a lifeline. It could cover several months of groceries, help pay for prescription medications, or take care of an unexpected utility bill. And unlike a small cost of living adjustment that gets swallowed up by rising Medicare Part B premiums, this payment would arrive directly and immediately. Unfortunately, while the advocacy group is pushing hard, no official legislation has yet been introduced in Congress to make this payment a reality. That means the proposal remains just that, a proposal, not a guarantee. At the same time, Social Security beneficiaries are facing another disappointment. Early estimates suggest that the 2026 cost of living adjustment at Exole could come in at only 2.7%. That's one of the lowest increases in years and would hardly scratch the surface of what seniors actually need to keep up with rising prices. Some experts even predict it could dip to 2.6% or rise only slightly to 2.8%. But the bottom line remains the same. Seniors are once again being left behind. This is why the advocacy group insists that Congress adopt a better measure of inflation, one that reflects the reality of older Americans. The current formula, called the CPIW, is based on the spending habits of younger urban workers, but seniors spend much more on healthcare, prescriptions, and housing costs that often rise faster than general inflation. A new formula, the CPIE, has been proposed. This E stands for elderly, and it would finally ensure that Social Security COLAs reflect the real expenses seniors face. Lawmakers like Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Larson have both backed versions of legislation that would adopt this measure alongside bills like the Social Security Expansion Act and the Social Security 2010 Act. All these debates highlight the same truth. Seniors in America are being squeezed harder than ever. There are currently more than 7 million seniors trying to survive on less than $1,000 a month. That's below the poverty line in one of the wealthiest nations in the world. And while poverty has declined for younger Americans in recent years, it has actually risen among older adults. That is a crisis that can't be ignored. And for those of you on Social Security, you already know how tight things are. You've watched as small COLA increases disappear into Medicare premiums. You've felt the rising costs of food, rent, and utilities. And you've seen how little attention Washington pays to the daily struggles of retirees. A $1,400 payment wouldn't solve everything, but for many, it would at least provide some breathing room, something that's desperately needed right now. So where does this leave us? Our Representative Larson is demanding answers on Social Security data security, while advocacy groups are urging Congress to send seniors a $1,400 relief check. Meanwhile, the COLA for next year looks insultingly low, and millions of retirees are being asked to do more with less yet again. None of these issues exist in isolation. They are all part of a bigger picture showing just how urgently Social Security needs attention. The message from seniors is clear. The system isn't keeping up. The value of benefits is shrinking, inflation keeps climbing, and the poverty rate among older Americans continues to grow. Whether it's through stronger COLAs, one-time payments, or long-term reforms like CPIE, something must be done. But for now, seniors wait, watching closely as Congress debates, hoping that their voices are finally heard. Here at Truth Lens, we'll continue following these developments every step of the way. The fight for stronger benefits, fairer inflation adjustments, and urgent relief isn't over. For millions of seniors struggling to get by, every update matters because every dollar matters.